to 7 seconds.
You can see the time. Wittenberg. Oh, that's a long ways.
They won it!
All the way back to 1983 NCAA championship game, one of the biggest upsets in college basketball history. North Carolina State Wolfpack beating Houston. Thurl Bailey, you were on that team, and that was one of the greatest finishes, greatest moments in NCAA championship history.
It was, and let it be known, I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call you out.
What,
you want to say it? You want me to say
I said the Tar Heels a moment ago?
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, but you beat the Utes during that season, so there you go.
We didn't just beat them.
Oh, okay. All right, Thurl Bailey, of course, former Jazz man, broadcaster for the Jazz, with us tonight. Normally when you win a championship, you go to the White House.
Yeah.
But in 1983, you didn't go.
No, we didn't. I'm not sure it was totally customary back then. I know that North Carolina won it the year before we did, the school you really like, the Tar Heels. Yeah. And I think they went. Our school was a little frugal, a little more frugal. Mm-hmm. They had to, you know, figure out ways to spend that championship money. Mm-hmm. So they didn't send us. We had a TV company that wanted to sponsor us to go, but the athletic director would not allow that because they said it would have been an NCAA violation.
Okay. So you didn't get to go to the White House. Kind of feel cheated, I'm sure, but 33 years later, just a couple weeks ago, you had your moment with President Obama.
Yeah, and let it be known, back then we had a live satellite broadcast with President Reagan, but I actually wrote a letter a few months ago to President Obama, telling our story, hoping that he knew it, knowing he was a sports fan. I also asked Senator Hatch to write a letter in support of mine, and he actually, the White House called and invited us up.
So Thurl, why was this so important 33 years later to have this moment?
Well, it was important because we felt like the journey was kind of incomplete. We had talked about it at our 30th reunion when the 30 for 30 was filmed. Man, if we could go to the White House and meet the president, it would really kind of tie things together, something we didn't get to do back then. And we kind of celebrate the late Jim Valvano and also Lorenzo Charles.
Mm-hmm. Who hit the game winner? Yeah,
who hit the game winner. So in hindsight, you know, I think it was good that we didn't get a chance to go. I know that sounds weird, but I think we enjoyed it more now. We appreciated it more.
But you mentioned it briefly. You did have a satellite hookup with President Reagan back in '83, and we just so happened to have that video. Here's how that satellite interview went with President Reagan honoring you as the national champions.
I'm sorry you couldn't be here, but I couldn't be there. But again, congratulations.
How you doing, Mr. President? I'd like to say on behalf of NC State basketball team, it's just an honor to be able to talk to you live from satellite. And I'm sure that all the other guys would agree with me that this really tops our season off.
Wow. What comes back to you when you see that, how young you were, your coach that you love dearly with President Reagan, and you talking to him?
It brings back really good memories and some sad ones. I mean, obviously, Coach V's not with us. He passed away from cancer 10 years after that championship. So it was kind of bittersweet when I look back on that video. But it was a great opportunity. Back then, you know, to speak to the president live, even if by satellite, was a pretty huge opportunity. So we weren't mad or anything. We just, we enjoyed it. It was a great journey and a great story, and that added to it. But to be able to be there live in front of the president and vice president was just awesome.
33 years later. Now, one of the things that I did not remember, and we just noticed it when we were watching the video, President Reagan doing play-by-play of the game-winning shot. Let's take a look at that.
Since something like this, the seconds are ticking away here at University Arena in Albuquerque. North Carolina State behind 44-37 has pulled up to a 52-52 tie, and only seconds to go. Thurl Bailey has the ball to the corner. They could be in trouble. No, Bailey passes to Wittenberg. He's right above the key, shoots. It's going short. Oh no. Lorenzo gets it. He dunks it and is down there with just seconds remaining, and the crowd is going crazy, and that's the game.
So how is that, Thurl? You had the President of the United States actually calling your name in a play-by-play.
It was pretty awesome, and he was pretty good at that. I mean, I guess it helps being an actor, but it was kind of impromptu for him, and he did a great job. And you know, it was an exciting moment for all of us.
Incredible moments. And to have it on video?
Yeah.
The President of the United States called his name.
It's unbelievable.
That was awesome.
Ronald Reagan, so
And
cool.
Obama did too. I don't know if you had that video, but
Yeah.
it was kind of cool to present him with the NC State jersey, and he spent time with us, about 25 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of a big deal. They know who you are.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully the Utah Jazz are a big deal in 2016, 2017.
Absolutely.
While we're here, we got to ask you about the Jazz. You know what it takes to build a championship contender. Do you like this core right now? Can this core become a championship contender? Or do the Jazz need to make some kind of blockbuster move to go out there and get a superstar player to pair with some of these guys?
I really like the direction of this team. I think we got spoiled for so many years as fans with a team with Karl Malone and John Stockton at the helm and almost getting there. And at some point, you know, you're kind of tired of being status quo, so you have to make some moves. You have to clean house in a sense. And you raise eyebrows, but when you see what Coach Quinn Snyder has done with this young team, he's really got them to believe in a system that starts defense first. Now, you have to score in this league, so you have to have guys on the team who can do that as their job. And the Jazz have that. They're building, I think next year, personally, if I'm a player, nothing less than the playoffs. I mean, you got to make it. You were almost there this year, and I think you obviously are building towards that. The ultimate goal, obviously, is to win a championship, and I think they're on the right path. I think that you don't have to mess with a lot. You've got the youngest team in the league maturing. Why would you mess with, you know, from my standpoint, why would you mess with that when you really, I think, ahead of schedule?
Yeah, finally, just wanted to ask you about Jerry Sloan.
Yeah.
We had a chance to talk to Jerry Sloan recently. You probably saw the interview on KSL.
Yep.
You had a chance to talk to Jerry at all? What are your thoughts?
You know, I talk to Jerry at the games when he comes to the games, but yeah, I have my own personal thoughts. I mean, I love that man. I think we all do, but I had a chance to be a student of his for a long time. And listen, Jerry's one of the toughest son of a guns ever created, and you know he's going to battle whatever comes before him. And you know, he has the love and support of not just, you know, the guys who played for him, and not just the fans here in Utah, but there are a lot of people who love Jerry, know that he's a fighter. So, you know, whenever I see him at we always talk about him walking the dog. He does that every day, and he goes out and does his exercises. So he's going to fight the fight.
Yeah. Tough to see him that way.
It is tough. It is very tough.
Stellar and big pillar of a guy that he is. Yeah. Well, Big T, thanks for coming in. It was a pleasure to talk to you about some of your highlights. Yeah, reminisce. Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
send
are a
some
big deal.
I'm gonna send you some of those NC State paraphernalia so you can
I
talk about that.
call him a Tar Heel for fun.
Does that?
Yeah. and I shouldn't, because 2 presidents have called your name.
That's right.
I know.
Hey, don't forget that.
That is awesome. Thurl Bailey, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.